How's it going? It's been a while. Yeah. Yeah, no, I just got back from a walk. Yeah, no, I know it's late. But, sometimes it's nice to just go out for a walk when there's no one around. There's something comforting about being outside when everyone else is asleep. It's like the world is quiet. It's very quiet. And sometimes you don't really like that, like, I feel like you don't want to be lonely, right? You don't want to feel lonely. But at the same time, there is something nice about being alone. And those are like, I don't know, those are just like two very different things, And tonight was one of those nights where I just felt like being alone for a bit. But yeah, the problem with that is, it's, like I was saying before, it's pretty late. It's like, I think we're going on like 2 a.m. now. But yeah, tell me, what's been going on? How you doing? Oh yeah. No, I got you. I got you. Yeah, it's rough when you've got trouble sleeping, but yeah. Yeah. Is there anything like, you got something on your mind, or is there something just worrying you, or is it like you just can't fall asleep? Yeah. Yeah. Nah, it's rough. It's rough. I get it. I mean, it's been the same for me recently. I'm kind of like, I'm trying not to think about what it's going to feel like tomorrow morning. But I feel like that's what it is with, all of us. Yeah. I mean, it kind of sucks, right? Because when you're trying to go to sleep, I feel like there's all these emotions that come in, all this stress, all this worry. You start thinking about tomorrow, the fact that you either have to be up early or that you like really need to go to sleep. But then all that really does is make you feel worse, it just makes you feel more anxious and more stressed, more worry. And I don't know why we work that way, right? Because you'd think something in our biology would make it so that we want to go to sleep, and so we end up going to sleep. But in some paradoxical way, it's like the more you want to go to sleep, the harder it is to go to sleep, right? Because then you end up worried and stressed, and sleeping isn't something you do actively. Sleeping is something that just happens, right? So, kind of this paradox, and yeah, I can say all as much as I want, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still tough. No, I get it, I feel you. Yeah. No, I get it. But you don't have to worry about it, right? Like, I know it's easier said than done, but when you worry so much and you start stressing out, like, it's not helping you, On some level, I think, like, it's good to detach. It's good. Getting my tongue twisted. It's just so late. But it's good to detach, Like, when I have trouble sleeping, like when it's really bad, like when I really can't go to sleep, sometimes I'll just kind of like, I don't know, I'll accept it, and I'll just be like, fine. Rather than, if I'm going to be up anyway, right? Rather than struggle and just like get frustrated laying in bed and just have an awful time. It's like, yeah, I'm tired and I want to sleep, but I can't. And so I'll just get up, I'll try, maybe I probably won't turn on the lights because I don't want to like get myself too out of it. But I'll just get up and I'll maybe get on my phone, and I'll turn the blue light off, right? Because that's helpful. And I'll just watch something, right? And sometimes that's what I need. If I find that if I'm having trouble sleeping, a lot of times it's just something on my mind. And if I can watch something else, if I can put on some video, sometimes it's an ASMR video, but other times it's just something, maybe something I find interesting or something stupid I'll like. I mean, at this point I've watched the most random things, but I can get myself interested in, like, you know, those like 3-hour long video essays. I don't know why, but those just do it for me. And so I'll either watch like a 3-hour long video essay on something that I know absolutely nothing about, right? On like a 3-hour essay on a show that I've never seen. Or, you know, like a 5-hour analysis of some obscure video game. And I don't know why that kind of stuff hooks me. But I'll just watch that, you know, something mindless. It doesn't, because it's like, I don't want to think about anything productive. I don't want to focus on anything productive. And that'll really just do it for me, you know. Sometimes I'll watch some like video game playthroughs, especially if they have commentary, because I don't want to like focus on the video too much. Because it's nice to distract yourself, but you don't want to get all that light, you know, this late at night. But yeah, I'll just, you know, I'll listen to the voice, I'll hear him talk. Earlier I said that I like being alone, right? It's comforting. But at the same time, I think there's also something really comforting about hearing someone talk. There's something really comforting about just kind of being in someone else's presence, right? It feels safe. There's a lot, I just, you know, not to like rant or anything, but I feel like there's a lot in, you know, our modern life that's just so separate from how we're normally supposed to be as humans, right? Like, when would you ever sleep alone? Right? Like in a sort of, in ancient society, not even that ancient, right? Like even a few hundred years ago, the idea of like privacy and having your own room with your own bed wasn't normal. It wasn't common. But now that's how we all live. We all live in solitude. And like I was saying before, you know I appreciate it. Sometimes it's nice. Sometimes it's really nice to be able to spend time on your own and really gather your thoughts and be in your own head. But sometimes it's also like there's a kind of comfort and security that you feel when you're around the people you love, right? And I know, like, I always felt so much better sleeping with someone else in a room than sleeping alone. I don't know why. Maybe it's that same thing, right? Like maybe it's just that feeling of security, but I like that. You know, it feels good. And so sometimes I'll try and get that same feeling by, you know, maybe I'll listen to some ambience where there's people talking in the background, or I like those videos that have the sounds of like people studying, you know, like either typing on a keyboard or, you know, writing in a notebook. People doing commentary, that kind of stuff just helps. Because I find a lot of the time, if I'm having trouble sleeping, right, it's because I'm worrying too much. I'm not feeling great, you know, maybe I'm anxious. And just feeling, even if it's tricking myself, but feeling like I have someone around helps calm me down a bit. And I always appreciate that. I appreciate the presence of others. Yeah, no, it's helpful. It's helpful. Yeah, you know, just thinking back on it, it's like, as a kid, I used to hate falling asleep. And I never wanted to go to sleep. But I was always just so comfortable around, like, people that it was super common for me to be in the living room with, like, my family. And, you know, it could be parents, siblings, cousins, everyone together. And we could be watching something on TV, whatever it was. I would just fall asleep. And I'd always get woken up and be like, they'd wake me up and they'd be like, why don't you go to the room? Why don't you just go to sleep in your bed? And I'd be like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, I'm fine. I'm not tired. And then I'd end up falling asleep again. And, just looking back on it, I think I never wanted to be alone in that way. Like, I never wanted to feel lonely. But at the same time, it wasn't like FOMO, but I just felt so happy and comfortable being around people that I was able to just let myself be tired, even though I didn't want to admit it. And, I feel like I used to fall asleep really easily back in that time of my life. And, like I was saying before, whenever there's someone else in the room, it's just so much easier to fall asleep. And I don't know why, but then when I'm alone, it just feels impossible sometimes. It feels like either there's always something on my mind, or I start scrolling, or I start watching something, or doing something that I know I shouldn't be doing, but that I just do to fill that void. And that's when the time starts passing, right? And it's hard to break out of that cycle once it starts, because, it'll be like 12, and then it'll be 12:30. And I'll be like, why did I waste so much time? Right? But then you get yourself into that, almost like that productivity mindset. But the rough part, like the thing to realize, is that there's no productivity mindset at this time at night. You gotta just relax, you gotta take the time off, you gotta turn things off, right? You're not supposed to be thinking about the fact that you wasted 30 minutes of time, because you just have to forgive yourself, right? You just have to turn it off. You have to move on and detach, because that's how you can give yourself the space to just fall asleep, right? Like I was saying before, sleep isn't an active, like it's not an active thing you do. You sleep when you give yourself the space to be passive. And, I'll feel stressed because I'll have been scrolling for half an hour. But then it's hard to break out of, because now I don't want to come to terms with the fact that I did that, and that now I'll be getting half an hour less of sleep. So then next thing you know, it's 1, then 1:30, then 2, and I think now we're going on 2:30, and I just don't think it's super helpful. Instead, you gotta just accept. You gotta just accept and let yourself, be okay with the fact that at some point tonight you will fall asleep. And it might not be ideal. It might not be exactly when you want it, but it's going to happen. And it's going to happen at the time that it'll happen. And so you don't want to stress about it, because it's just going to make it worse. You're not going to have a good time. And so I know I've just been you came here, and now I've just been talking this whole time, but I've been thinking about that a lot, because, I've been having some trouble sleeping as well. But yeah, I'll shut up now. Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. I feel you. I don't want to just come in here and try and solve all your problems, and give you all that unsolicited advice. But just really don't worry about it so much. And again, I know it's easier said than done, but the worry, the stress, the attachment, it's not going to help you. Things will get better. You gotta hold on to that faith. Things are going to get better. And you'll find it easier to go to sleep again. You're just having some trouble now. But that's not a permanent state. It's going to get better. And so you just got to accept, maybe you have some trouble this night. Maybe you have some trouble the next few nights. That's just how it happens, That's just how it goes. But it's going to get better. And so, if you're going to be awake anyway, you might as well not be miserable. Right? At least that's the way I think about it. Yeah, totally. Yeah. No, I feel you. It's rough when you're feeling stressed. No, I get it. Yeah, but I know. I also feel like I haven't done enough. I get that feeling all the time, right? Like, where did the day go? All of a sudden, it's like past midnight, and you've got to go to sleep so you can start the next day, but you don't want that next day to be set behind because of the things you feel like you didn't get done today. I know I get that feeling a lot. That I haven't done enough. That I'm not enough. But it's not. All that pressure is self-imposed, you know? You don't have to feel that way. Yeah, I know. It's easier said than done. But you really don't have to feel that way. You know, everyone talks about why leave things for tomorrow when you can do them today. But at the same time, you gotta accept that today is just done, right? And chances are, if you're the kind of person who holds yourself to those standards and puts that pressure on yourself, chances are that you've probably done enough. And so you can turn your brain off. You can disconnect. That's all right. You can disconnect and you can let yourself unwind and relax. I know it feels like you haven't done enough, but you have. Even just getting through the day is enough. Even just getting through the day is enough. You gotta tell yourself that. You gotta remind yourself that, Like, if you went through the day and you, at the very least, took care of yourself, right? Like life is about living. You made it through the day. If you ate, hopefully you moved around a little bit, but you were awake. You probably went to the bathroom. You did the things that life involves, right? And so the fact that you lived your life in that day up until this moment means that you've done enough. That's all you have to do. Yeah, it's nice to do more. It's nice to have goals and be ambitious and have all these things that you want to do. It's nice to feel like you want to be productive. But, you're done, right? Like, that's all great. But that's just what it is. It's great. It's a nice thing to strive for. But don't let it hold you back. Right? Like, if you let that desire to do more, to be more productive, hold you back, then all you're doing is setting yourself back and making it more stressful for yourself, right? Yeah. The day's over. Just accept that. And then you can move on. You don't have to worry, you don't have to stress. You've done enough. Like, trust me, you have done enough. I have to tell this to myself all the time too. No, I get it. It's not easy. But you've done enough. You can get back to it tomorrow, right? You can trust in your future self to take care of the things that you need to take care of. For now, what you have to take care of is yourself. That's the only focus. Let yourself relax, unwind, relax, disconnect. You've got this. You've done great. And even if you didn't do great, you've still done great. Because the fact that you tried, again, the fact that if you're having trouble sleeping because you feel like you haven't done enough because you put all this pressure on yourself, then trust me, you have done enough. You have done enough. You're okay. You're going to be okay. And everything is going to be okay. Everything will work out on its own. You don't have to be in control of every little thing. You don't have to worry about it. You'll be fine. Everything will be fine. So just get it all out of there. Just forget about it all. Yeah. Yeah, just let go. It's fine. Trust me. Everything will be fine. I promise you. You don't have to worry about it. Yeah, no. You don't have to worry about it. Genuinely. Yeah, it's all gonna be okay. I know it sounds a little bit ridiculous, but seriously. If you can just get yourself to detach, you'll start to notice that everything will work itself out. So let yourself relax, If you can't sleep right now, don't worry about it, right? It'll be okay. If you need, take some time, go do something that can help get your mind off of it, right? Like if you're stressed, sometimes I find personally that writing about my stress helps me, like just journaling. But, at some point it's too late. No, I don't want to say too late, but it's time for you to unwind. It's okay if you want to get distracted. It's okay to distract yourself, right? Like the things that you're worrying about will still be there tomorrow. So forget about them. Distract yourself. Focus on something else. Let yourself unwind. Let yourself relax. And before you know it, you'll just wake up tomorrow. You'll fall asleep without even realizing it, right? Because that's how it works. How often do you remember when you fall asleep? Personally, I don't, never, right? Because every time you fall asleep, it's not when you're trying to fall asleep. It just happens. And so you gotta give yourself the space for it to happen. Yeah. Yeah, no, you're gonna do it. You'll be fine. Everything will be fine, I promise. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you came by. And I'm glad, like I said before, it's nice to be alone sometimes. But you don't want to be lonely, and so, I appreciate that, you came by. And hopefully it helped a little bit. Yeah. I know I feel a little bit better talking with you too. It's just, I went out on that walk, and as it always happens, just being alone with your thoughts can, the plus side, right, the positive, the pros to being alone with your thoughts is that you get to be alone with your thoughts. And then the negative side is you get to be alone with your thoughts. Or rather that you have to be alone with your thoughts. And so I'm just glad that, you came by and we were able to talk a bit. I mean, I'm hoping that hopefully this helped you just calm down a bit, right? Because I don't want you to feel like you have to stress and worry so much, because I've been there. I've been there before so many times. And it's just the reality is that you really don't have to worry about it. You really don't have to stress. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're welcome to come by anytime. Anytime. Just hit me up, But yeah. Alright. Yeah, for sure. You're gonna head home now, yeah. I mean, I don't remember if you live far, but, if so, drive home safe, I mean, the streets are empty at this time, but you never know who's out, So just get home safe, shoot me a text once you're back, so I know you're okay. Yeah. Nah, for sure. Alright. Yeah, definitely. Alright, good night. It's good seeing you.